The Santro established Hyundai's firm footing in the country, but it took a Creta to add wings to its ambitions. Does it take an SUV then to not just help a brand establish its presence, but for it to flourish? SUVs like the Venue and Tucson have also done very well for the Koreans, but they have not had an entry-level SUV in the market for quite some time, not until now, because the Hyundai Exter has been officially launched in our market. We are in sunny Jaipur to test drive this car. You're watching HT Auto. I'm your host Shubhadeep Chakravarti.
The Exter has a largely new design language, even if some of the elements on the outside are borrowed or influenced by sibling models. The face is the smartest angle on this SUV, complete with H-shaped DRLs, bifunction projector headlights, parametric front grille, and a very prominent closed skid plate. On the side, the wheel arches are quite prominent around the 15-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels, while the roof rails give an otherwise muscular profile some sporty appeal. The rear is where things begin to appear a little too overdone. Personally, I don't like the shape and flow here, and the parametric treatment between the H-shaped tail lights are a bit too much. There is a large skid plate here as well, while black painted rear spoiler and the mounted brake light complete the design. Open the tailgate and there is a generous 391 litres of cargo space, which is, and underline this, more than what you would get inside the Venue, the Nexon, or even the Brezza.
Now, while the outside styling and design elements on the Exter are quite new, the cabin would be a familiar place for those who have existing Hyundai models in their garage. Now, one of the key highlights in the cabin that Hyundai is repeatedly underlining is how feature-packed this car is. You get an 8-inch infotainment screen with support for wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get an all-digital driver display. You get a conventional side sunroof, which can be voice controlled as well. Then you have things like multiple charging points. You have a Type-C, a conventional USB and a 12-volt socket here. For me personally, the biggest highlight by far of the Exter is that all variants, and yes, I mean all variants of this vehicle, come fitted with 6 airbags. Now, the design of the dash and the aircon vents are what we've seen previously. They do find similarities with the likes of the Grand i10 Nios and even the i20 to an extent. The center console too is again familiar. The overall layout and the fit and finish is not exceptional, but then should be par for the course considering the pricing structure of this vehicle. Another unique feature inside the Exter is that it is now the second car from the Hyundai India stable to feature a dash cam. Quick question, which is the other Hyundai India car with a dash cam? Tell us in the comment section if you know the answer. But as far as the dash cam inside the Exter is concerned, it's a two-way dash cam, which means while you're on the move, you can press a recording button here and it will record all that is happening in front of the car. That can be very important when if and when, God forbid, you meet with some sort of an accident or an unfortunate incident. But that's serious stuff. What's also the fun part of this dash cam is that you can click selfies of you and everyone in the cabin by just long pressing the enter button on this dash cam. For a car of its proportions, the Exter also offers a decent amount of space, especially for passengers at the back. The carved section on the back of the front two seats ensure that there is decent amount of knee room, there is decent space for your leg. Or the only time when the Exter's rear seats would feel like a squeeze is if and when you put in 3 adults side to side on those seats. The Exter is also promising a relatively sporty drive, and Hyundai says that it can be a great option within city limits or even beyond. So let's find out what this 1.2-litre Kappa petrol engine is capable of. The Exter is offered across 5 trim variants. All of them get the 1.2-litre petrol motor under the hood. There is the company-fitted CNG option as well, but this particular review unit only has the petrol engine and no kit in the boot. Now you can also choose between a 5-speed manual transmission option, but considering how convenient automatics have become, how popular they've become, we decided to opt for the automatic version in this media unit. So let's find out what the Exter is like on the move. Exter is being highlighted as a car meant for the outdoors, and while you can be outdoors within city limits as well, I feel obviously the Exter would be a primarily city driven car, and in that sense some of the inherent strengths of Hyundai models shines to the fore almost immediately. A typically light steering wheel helps make navigating within city roads quite easy. At triple digit speeds, that lack of feedback from the steering can be an issue, a familiar issue for many, but I personally prefer the lighter steering setup on Hyundai models, and the Exter is no exception. The suspension setup on the Exter is also par for the course. It's not going to win any laurels or accolades in suspension award ceremonies, if there are any like that, but jokes aside, it is par for the course. It handles most of the potholes that you have in Indian cities and roads well, and on patchy roads that we are currently on, this car also fares pretty well. The Exter is not a power player in any sense, but at 83 HP and 140 Newton meters of torque, it is quite a spirited drive if you want it to be. This is a very light car, and therefore at high speeds you will probably need to be a little extra careful, especially if you're comparing this to some of its direct rivals. But having said that, the automatic transmission unit is working just so well. The gear numbers click really well. The response to throttle inputs is fantastic, and great control over NVH levels as well. In many ways, the Exter is a very well thought out package. It's a very solid package. Little surprised because Hyundai has had the experience of knowing just what the SUV buyer in the country wants. What do you make though of the Hyundai Exter? Do let us know, and do not forget to check out our in-depth written review as well. In this episode, that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching, and as always, drive safe, stay safe.